I want to welcome everybody and wish everybody a happy new year. And we'll start with the approval of the November 7th minutes. They've been pre-distributed, no corrections or additions. I'd ask for a motion to approve.
Vote to approve.
Second. Second.
Second.
I don't know. I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it.
All in favor, aye.
Ears are still plugged from last 2 weeks ago.
Treasurer's report and update. The auditors are on site. Again, I think they showed up Monday on the 5th. They'll be here for, they always book 3 weeks. I think they kind of come and go a little bit.
This week in office.
Yeah, I think they're just here this week, but it's going well. I wanted to give you a little bit of background because it's been a little while since we met, but we did make a change in the office with the principal account clerk, who was kind of our primary bookkeeper. We made that change back in the very beginning of October. The change was really kind of, as we started to come in at the end of the year, I didn't feel as comfortable as we should be with the financials and the reporting. Hey, Kirsty. So we decided that we needed to do something about it. We have outsourced the bookkeeping to a CPA and a former auditor. Her name is Jody DiCarlo. She's from Avon. She's been grilling us just about like every auditor does grill us, so that's a good thing. She has gone back into the books, back into 24, and it's really made a lot of correcting entries. She's rock solid. We're going to have her here today, but she couldn't come this morning. She'll be a little later, but so I feel very, very comfortable. The question always comes up when you have turnover: is there any concerns about missing money or anything like that? No, that's not a concern at all. The reason for the turnover is really more of the entries and keeping good entries. And that's where Jody's been really kind of making a lot of changes with things. So when you look at the financials, you have a statement of activity or a profit and loss, and then you also have a statement of financial position, which is essentially a balance sheet. We have typically reported to you on a cash basis. If we received the check, then we booked it. We do have a shift here to an accrual basis. We bill in some things in 25 that are 25 either revenue or expense items that may carry over that 12/31 deadline, in which case they carry over in the form of a receivable or a payable. So you'll see some of that on the balance sheet for the first time. We really have not had accurate accounting of that. So let's go through the statement of activity for January 1 through December 31 of 25. We had a pretty much a break-even year, very solid when it comes to project fees. We're still collecting on the Morris Rich fee. We had 2 collections on the White Creek fee, and we also did Jaycox 2 here in Geneseo. So we had a good year in terms of project income. The gain or loss on the sale of land is a net loss. So we value the property at, I think it's $40,000 an acre when it comes to putting all the improvements in it, as well as all the investment that we've made in James Steel Park. So this is a paper loss. We didn't lose on the sale. We obviously made proceeds on that, but when you net out what's been put in the park and the value of the land, it does come out as a paper loss. Our rental income, this is kind of where we've shifted from cash to accrual. We actually have 2 Dansville rentals in on this number, as well as the one for the prison. So 24 was a carryover into 25. We also collected again in 25, and then we had the prison in that number. So we typically would only have 2 rent checks per year. So total is roughly $660,000 in income. When you get into the expenses, a lot of the standard expenses there, with one kind of glaring on the page, is the miscellaneous expense. There was a $50,000 paper adjustment that was made. It was a payable that had been carried for a couple of years that Jody was clearing off. So this was not an adjustment to cash. It was just an adjustment to the overall payable that had needed to be cleared off a couple of years ago. LCDC charges, that's our sign of facade contribution for community development to the LCDC. If you flip the page, or if you've got a second page, mine's front back, I don't know about yours. We did have some expenses in Livingston Correctional. Those are one-time expenses that went along with the property. The largest piece of that was the closing bill for council for the transition of the property over to the IDA. Gateway Agribusiness, as you know, and as you're gonna see, we've got a project going out there as well as some infrastructure in that park. Livingston Correctional Maintenance, that's part of what we've got going on over there at the prison. And then if you go down to the utilities, you're gonna see that's what our ongoing expenses are with carrying costs for National Grid, steam, water, and sewer at Livingston Correctional. So no small number there, which I'll have an update for you on here in just another few minutes. So basically a break-even year. I feel so comfortable with the books now. If you go over to the balance sheet or the statement of financial position, you're gonna see cash in the account of $665. You're gonna see receivables of $471. I checked yesterday, we've actually got 1.1 in the checking account. Those receivables are starting to clear, just didn't make it by year end. And then our assets that we own as far as the prison, the parks, the land, things like that. Again, mine's on the back of the page. I don't know if the back front or a second page, the liabilities. We do have some payables. The largest piece of that is the land at James Steele Park. If you recall, the infrastructure that was put in, we swapped with Stevie Morse, who did that. That property is getting ready to transition. So that'll be coming off of those books and transitioning for sale and development. I'll explain that in a few minutes too, but the books are in a good position. We're in a comfortable cash position, and we're finally kind of operating on a basis that feels very, very good finally. So I don't know about the bookkeeping position. We've got such a good skill set with Jody, and we have not been able to get that skill set when we hired, going back even a few years. So I'm very comfortable now with keeping it outsourced, quite honestly. The professionalism's there. She knows what she's doing. She's working with our auditors. The auditors are much more comfortable this year coming in than they were in prior years. So, Maureen, I think it's fair to say you've been working with her on the LCDC side more than the IDA. That are you in the same position I am?
Yeah, I would completely agree. We do have an economic development assistant position open, which they could handle all the administrative work and getting documentation over to Jody if she's doing things virtually. So I think we could get them up to speed enough where they're handling any administrative side of the finance.
But I think it's, we're definitely in agreement that the long-term plan is to continue to outsource this bookkeeping to keep the financials in the positions.
Yeah.
We just have not been able to get strong bookkeeping skills. So, that's the financial.
So how would we stand with that? Do we have to go for proposal on that, or do we just,
I'd rather not. I'd rather contract with her as professional services,
Okay,
and
so
just do it that way. Yeah. She's local, she's available. I think she likes the social interaction, so she comes in and uses a desk. But she's been phenomenal to work with. She understands the business. She understands, what we're doing. And I'd like to keep
and
her.
she's got an office now.
She's got her house in Avon,
Yeah.
which she uses. Yeah. She lives there.
Plus, plus difference.
$50 an hour.
That's cheap.
Yeah, I wouldn't let that go. For the work that she's doing and the way that she's been able to tackle these books, it's phenomenal. So, very, very comfortable.
Any other questions on the financial statement?
Honestly, if I had to make one more comment quickly, I think she's saving us the money that we were spending on a deal cleaning it up. So.
Plus, we have another book.
Right. Yeah, and she's contracted. And then
Okay, and entertain a motion to approve the financial statement. Second. All in favor?
thank you. It's not on your agenda. I apologize. I forgot because we talked late, but we got a couple of fellows here from Workforce Development. Every year we work with Workforce Development on funding jobs fair advertisements. The reason we fund it is that it keeps it free to those who attend, and you guys don't have to charge for companies to come in and hire, or at least see applicants. Tell us how well this has been going.
So I did bring numbers also, so So essentially, the funds that we receive for our department don't allow us to spend on anything like advertising. So the only way we can make this event successful is by advertising and giving the job seekers there, which makes it meaningful for employers. We have moved to this new model of these small events more frequently than doing like 1 or 2 big events a year, which student employers have really responded to. They like to come in monthly or every other month and touch, 50 or 75 people instead of, once a year trying to do all their recruitment needs. If you were to go to an outside Livingston County, the job fairs range anywhere from 150 to 500 to $1,000. So it's very unique that we're offering this the way we do. Over the last year, we worked with 139 employers. Now that's not unique. That might be the same employer each month, but 139 employers came to an event and recruited. We had 399 job seekers attend those events. Interesting statistically, 32% of those folks were already employed. So almost a third of the people coming were hitting that underemployed population, which is what employers really want to find, is those folks that are already working. They got a demonstrated work ethic, they have skills, and they're looking for growth and improvement. What we can't do without you is advertise and get the job seekers to come here. The reason being, there's just no great free way to promote these events. Livingston County is still kind of unique in the fact that people read the Penny Saver every week. It's gone down a touch each year. So if you look back at 2023, 30% of people came because of it. 2024, 25%, 2025, 24%. It's still holding very strong that people read that Penny Saver. The other thing that we've really moved to is these lawn signs that we set up all over it, kind of strategic locations. John goes out, puts them up, picks them up. They last for a few months and then they got to be replaced. The paper and cardboard, you can't leave them out in the rain for weeks. And so those 2 areas of investment, the Penny Saver ads and the lawn signs, resulted in 44% of the people that were. The rest kind of come through referrals through our office and things like that. So in order for these to be free for employers, meaningful for employers, we need to get people here, we need to advertise. So over the past few years, your board has been very generous in providing us with a small allotment of funding that we use to do that. Maureen would know best. Is it in the $2,000 to $3,000?
Last year it was 3317.
Bill would know best.
3,317.
I usually rely on Maureen.
Raise the bill, I look at the number. Yeah.
So that's about what it costs to advertise for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 unique events. John, anything you want to add to what I said?
We also have the percentage that are referred by friends and relatives. I think some of that is also coming from the Penny Saver, where grandma read something in the Penny Saver and told the grandson, things like that. So I think that's a percentage too. So I like to say about a third probably of the people who come to it. We've been doing this for over 7 years now, and now other counties have emulated our approach, doing them every single month. Unfortunately, they don't have the support of the economic development, so they're seeing maybe 10 people, 15 people come to one of their job fairs. Well, they're blown away by employers are blown away. Come to our job fair, like, this is incredible. I'm seeing so many people here where I'm going to Rochester and I'm paying $500 and I might see 4.
So the nice thing that John does is he rotates through employers. So if someone comes to the first one, he puts them on kind of the secondary list, tries to reach out, make sure everyone gets a chance. So we try and cycle through so everyone gets an opportunity.
And new employers always get first option because like new employees come in and have them.
So $3,500 if we were to allot not to exceed for that.
That would be fantastic.
As long as the Penny doesn't raise their prices, we should be keeping the same.
Just a quick question, because we have started to meet with the college. The college is really getting more engaged with the new president and trying to get, you've got a college job fair coming up.
So in a couple of weeks, they have like a downtown, they're trying to re-engage with Main Street and provide opportunities for students. So they reached out to me, I connected with Louise. They have a list of about 40 downtown businesses. They're having a lunch, breakfast with the president at the library. I'm gonna go, Louise is gonna go, I believe, and then she is kind of making a second touch with those employers because they didn't get an initial good response from the college because I don't think anyone knew what it is. But to Bill's point, the new college president we met with seemed very good and very focused on economic development and connecting with our local employment and what the growing trends are and what type of more, interestingly, career and technical type things that the college could partner on, which has never really been their purview. So
they're aiming for 10 to 15, very slow start, but for year one, I guess this is probably a pretty good number. 10 to 15 interns that stay here over the summer and can work with our businesses locally. for a couple $1,000 a summer, but they'll have place to stay, eat, on campus and transportation.
Yeah.
but they'll get engaged with, hopefully, I mean, this selfishly, I think this could be a thread that keeps folks in the area or allows them to stay in the area if they're not from here, but gives them some work experience too. And they want to ramp this number up. They've got the available places to stay and do all of this during the summer. Dorms are empty, so you might as well use them. So there's a lot of talk about this, and Ryan and I have been in at least one meeting. I know we're gonna meet again here in January, but more to come on that. This is more so for residents and folks that want to work here in the county. So I'd ask for an allocation of $3,500 to let these guys do some advertising and continue the successes here.
If you ever think of the post office, or all the post office, most of them have a board.
Do you do that?
No, I had I've, the regular flyers, because I'm the only one that goes around putting up everything. And it's just been too kind of time, just getting long signs out, it takes me 3 hours driving around the entire county to do that. Yeah, that is a good idea, though. The post office is.
Geneseo Post Office is the main hub, so just drop them there
Yeah,
and
maybe.
then they all go.
Together.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Okay.
And then you could have something on the board at the college union.
Yeah, so we're working with these new folks. In the past, there's been very little, but these new folks seem very interested in working with us. So it's been a wonderful opportunity so far. So
Yeah, I think this could expand.
for sure.
Okay, I entertain a motion to all 3,500 in spending. Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Great, thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Get
guys.
out of your hair. Thanks so much.
One additional thing, our business
Oh, yeah.
labor service representative from the Department of Labor wanted me to share some information with you about shared work programs. So if an employer has to lay people off, they can collect partial employment while keeping that employee, so the employee doesn't have to go somewhere else and lose their workforce. I know FTT took advantage of this back in the early 2010s when it hit with really bad economy back in 2010 and 2011. And so there's just some information here which employers in general might find useful.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
As well. Okay, on to the authorizing resolution. So Armstrong Grain and Ingredients, that's starting to move. This is our project out in Livonia, out in Gateway Park. They are a Canadian company. Can't pronounce his last name very well, but Ken Satang, I think is how they say it. Ken is the majority shareholder. I've worked more closely with Patrick Shepard and Justin Anstey, who are kind of those principals and boots on the ground. This is going to be a two-phase project. So they're starting with a small Morton building, about 8,000 square feet. They're going to sort of build a market share here by milling oats in the facility, most of which will be brought in by truck and taken out by truck. The eventual plan is a 14,000 foot addition that's probably 2 years out, if I had to guess, that will be the permanent facility. That's going to utilize rail, bringing in raw materials. If they're need to bring them in by rail, but they're anticipating, because most of these oats are grown northern Ontario, Saskatchewan. They are very willing and open to oats grown here if it's feasible for the farmers to do so and profitably. Obviously, I think logistically it would be great for them to be able to do so. So in any event, this is sort of their dipping their toe in the water. They are looking at 10 acres in Gateway to start this process. That 10 would include enough acreage for them to expand upon. Initially about 5 jobs. We're not looking for a deviation from this. It's a fairly straightforward incentive package that we're looking for. It will be a 10-year pilot, as well as a sales tax exemption. They are not funding this with a mortgage. They're using their Canadian bank for financing. The Canadian bank's going to use the existing assets in Canada and doesn't need a mortgage filed here. So there is no mortgage reporting tax exemption. The sales tax exemptions are the largest part of this incentive package. It's roughly about $90,000 worth of exemptions. The pilot's actually going to be decently lucrative, except for the fact that the building's not going to be worth a ton, but they will be taxed on the land portion only for the first 5 years. And then for the remaining 5, it will be 20% increases to full assessment, which is our standard UTEP policy. So we have no deviation to that. They're looking at getting equipment on site in spring and starting once the weather breaks. So I think this thing will start to move. It's been, some of my notes were November of 24, so a year in process, and now we're starting to see some movement. Fun company to work with, great guys, not a huge project, but it's an inn over at Gateway. I think it'll be the start of some things. In front of you is that authorizing resolution. We don't need to go to public hearing. It's not over 100,000 in benefits, and there's no deviations. This would be a pretty straightforward project.
So they don't own parcels of the.
They are, yep, they're buying that from Matt Cole. And there's an option on another 10, Jim, which, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, where this company initially cut their teeth, if you haven't heard the story before, is on bird food. They actually make, I got 54% of the market share in Canada. I've got some at home feeding the garden about that right now. They're available Country Max if you want stuff. I am there. But anyway, that could be an eventual plan on another 10-acre project. So this could really grow. Yes, they are.
They're gonna use the same exit and exit as they do for, well, Purdue rented it from, Bulls.
I'll just have it now. Yep.
Always got it now. It's gonna be all in that parcel and, backing it up to the railroad, so I set in and I wondered if, public, well, planning board and zoning board.
Yeah, you met the guys.
What are they? So.
Gonna be oat milling. So they'll take the oat, they mill it, they basically dehusk it, and they're left with the oat groat, which is the ingredient in premium dog food, protein. So they break down the husks themselves, can be used in bedding or as fiber content or dairy feed, can't they?
Yeah,
Pretty good.
The oats around here usually are 36 pounds. Their oats are heavier than 42. And there's no, we don't know what seed they're using either. And see with Steuben County, Wyoming County, and even some of Livingston, there's a lot of potatoes growing. So sometimes they need to break that rotation up so when they would grow a crop of oats. It's the straws, the byproduct, the oats, but if they can get them up to 42 pounds, they're in that area. I think about the guys afterwards, that's what they're really looking for.
Yeah.
Heavier. Well, so it might take off here.
Yeah, if it can be done, I mean, they are wide open to whoever will supply. Be a heck of a lot easier than dragging them in from Saskatchewan. Bringing in from Avon.
And it appears like Mike Howard's working with them
Yes. Mike was actually the one that introduced them to me.
hand in hand, so.
So,
To me, it looks like a good project. A project can grow.
you've got a statement of compliance, so we go through this just to make sure that it does qualify as a legitimate project. The resolution is also in front of you, but I will need eventually action here is to approve and accept the application and approve the incentives, as well as the acceptance of the statement for compliance of the project. If you want to go through that with me, I've got 5 categories here that we need to answer. The project will result in the retention and creation of permanent private sector jobs. It is projecting 5, so that's a yes. The evaluation of the value of exemptions in relation to the private sector investment meets or exceeds an acceptable level. It does meet the level. It is our no deviation and in compliance with our current UTEP. Project is going to be completed in a timely fashion. I think they'd be in there today if they could get in there today, but it's looking to start in the spring once the weather breaks. So yes. Does the project involve a removal or abandonment of a facility in Western New York? The answer is no. This is their new entry into New York State. Which is a good thing. And the project focuses on one of Livingston County's targeted industries. Yes, agribusiness right there. It also utilizes some of our logistical infrastructure, which is rail and interstate for supply chain connectivity. So what I would be looking for is motion second, probably a roll call on the authorization. And
Sorry. Shouldn't the estimated pilot savings be part of the benefited project amount? Doesn't that push us over 100?
No, It is, and at the estimated pilot savings is only about $8,000.
Oh, okay.
So yes, I think the total was about 98,000 that we got on the top benefit. Sorry about that.
So that doesn't have to be in this authorization.
The cost benefit?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to, no, it doesn't have to go on that schedule, no. But it is provided in the overall package. Yeah, it's 80,000 on sales tax, no mortgage recording, and 8,784.84 on the pilot. We kept on going.
Okay, I'm
Good
looking
point, Maureen.
for a motion to authorize this resolution for Armstrong Grain Ingredients Incorporated. Second, this will be a roll. I vote aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Carry.
Thank you very much. We'll move ahead with that. Second one is an inducement resolution. This benefit is over 100,000 or anticipated to be over 100,000. The project is New York Dansville One LLC. This is the solar project that's in the Dansville Industrial Park. We are working to transfer the land as we speak. That's Andrew's got that at the closing table with the company. What it is a 2.5 megawatt solar project that would go in the industrial park on the north end of the community. It's roughly about 28 to 30 acres, somewhere right in there. Project has been approved, took a while, but it's been approved through the town of North Dansville, I'm sorry, Village of Dansville. This industrial park years ago, while it is outside of the contiguous area of the village, was annexed into the village. So this pilot will benefit not only the town, but the village and the school and the county as well. We don't see a lot of village pilots because of the proximity of where it stands. So this is going to have about 20,000. It'll start at $20,000 in new tax money to all of the jurisdictions in year one, and it will grow at 2% beyond that annually. It is a standard pilot that's been proposed. It's a 15-year pilot because that is contiguous with what is allowed for renewable energy. It will be a deviation from our UTEP policy, but we have to have a public hearing for this in any event. A couple of things. It is anticipated that the sales tax exemption, this is a little different because a lot of the equipment is already sales tax exempt when it comes to solar. So our rule of thumb kind of goes out the window, but it is anticipated that sales tax will probably only be in the neighborhood of about $150,000. Panels and such are already exempt, racking, things like that aren't. So the pilot benefit, it's about 211,000 as estimated. There's some question as to the appraisal model that they're using for solar. It's been the source of a lot of anxiety. The state sort of continues to ratchet down the value of these while the local municipalities continue to try and ratchet them up. But there is a model right now that we have to use. According to the state, I did use that as far as valuations. So everything going into this. Right now, what's being asked of you for action is to induce this. We accept the application and we set a public hearing. You will not be authorizing this project today. That would be coming in future meeting.
So really, we're on inducing the resolution to set a public hearing.
We're accepting the application and we're setting the public hearing, which I've got either on Thursday, the 29th or Wednesday, February 4th. That should give us enough time to advertise and get the 10-day window that we need. It will be held in the Village of Dansville, where we have to hold it in the jurisdiction.
Any other questions on this? The motion to induce the hearing. Second, all in favor? Aye. Carry.
Great, thank you. We'll see this one again after we get the hearing and bring it back.
Just a quick question. Yeah, there's about 41 acres.
40, 45 or 48.
Yeah.
A lot of which is not usable. It's in the back. I want to say there's 15 acres in the back that's wooded. The Dansville law will not allow you to cut down a tree to allow for solar. Actually, a lot of our laws are written that way right now, but, in any event, they're using what's cleared. And they've portioned off a piece of that. We're gonna be left with access to that back lot as well as the back lot itself, which we've talked about in the past of selling off. There's an adjoining neighbor that would love to have that acreage. It's really not very good to us.
We got a 50-foot right away from 63, so,
Exactly.
you know, if somebody wanted to build 2 or 3 houses back in there, if they could get the utilities. And then anybody that it backs up to, because that's 250. What is that, that comes down through the back?
That's Culberson Road.
That's Culberson. That's right.
That's Jimmy's playground up in there.
And we put the private in here, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, they, one of the adjoining neighbors, I think, is still interested. With both. He's got a house back in there already, so. It would work around.
Okay, going on to the authorization, the documents of transfer sale of property at the James Stewart Park.
There are some things moving here, and I wanted to get this in the minutes. I know there are times that we get asked by opposing counsel or counsel on the other side of the table who's authorized to sign the document. So I did want to formalize this. We do have some movement at James Steel Park. The survey came in yesterday, so the remaining acreage will be moved to Steve Morsch. We do have some development already going out there that's subsequent to this, which would be with Decker Trucking as well as UET, which is expanding in their facility right there. If you come off of Tech, it tees right into Interstate. UET sits right there. Want to say that was a 4,000 square foot building, and I think they're going to put on another 2 or 3. He's growing, so another success story that happened out there. But some development, we just need to get it moved over to Morsch. This was in exchange for the work that Steve did with infrastructure. He did a storm sewer as well as sanitary sewer line for us. We swapped out some acreage with him, so it was all done.
And he did some work on the more covered in there.
He did, yes. Which also brings up the point from years ago that the town of Avon is ready to take dedication of that roadway so that we can finally be out of the park. So it's the last several years we've had a lot of activity over there. But this will be a good thing. And Kleist is actually working through planning board as well. So that'll be another development going on. We've already sold that property.
Just for record purposes, is there any kind of a comparison between the value of services and infrastructure that Steve put in and the value of the land?
Yes, we value the land at 20,000 an acre, as we do, which is our standard going rate. We swap that dollar for dollar for what the work was that was put in. So, yeah, I think it's 126 versus 120 or something to that effect.
Just as long as they have some record.
We do. You made me do that when we initially did the deal.
So we want to, these motion to authorize these transfers as they come up.
We could probably do this in one, I think, maybe just authorization to execute the documents and be the signers. So let me keep going through the properties. The one on Connor Ave, I talked to Kelly Bacon the other day via email. She's going to take it to her board. We own a sliver on Connor that actually cuts across Connor Ave, which means that anybody that's kind of using Connor is going across private property. So I don't know why that was done initially, but anyway, this would be clearing that up. And it would also give the village a very small sliver right next to the greenway, which might be a park bench or parking area or something that they could use. She said that she felt they'd be amenable, but wanted to take it to the board. This would be a straight donation of the property. I think it's less than an acre. It's 50 feet wide by 500 feet long.
Yeah, there's wells down there too.
No, that's a different one.
Okay.
So this is
This is on the north side.
Okay.
yeah.
See, we really own the road, so, you know, if Jim, if you want to go down there and put a road close sign on there.
Toll. Ding, ding, ding.
Toll road.
That would clean up one portion of this. The one that the wells are on that you're talking about, we're actually, Labella's going out to just take a dip in the well and see where the water's at. This is about an acre parcel that's on the right side of Connor Ave, the old DeSanto jet gas property. We have a buyer for that. Chris Young is interested in acquiring it. We talked to DEC. There is a deed restriction. The only condition DEC had was can you tell us how the wells are doing? So we're having Labella just go out and monitor them, check them. They agreed to do that this week. I touched base again with them. So then once that's done and once DEC says, okay, we're in good shape, we don't anticipate anything has gotten worse. So as long as it's better, we can have a blessing from DEC to let that property go. Chris wants to put a pole barn up there, so he's really not looking to disturb the subsurface. He wants to put down a slab and build it. And we've talked to Chris.
And he borders, as you
Yeah,
know. The next time you're done, we'll just take a look at one of those wells. Those padlocks haven't been on the
No,
well
they-
since they put them on.
Yeah.
And you're
They
gonna
are
cut them off with bolt cutters or chip saw or something, because they're not gonna get it done.
That would clean us up in Mount Morris. Okay. The last one is Pogues Hole. I have put a request into the county, as we've talked about, to acquire the property at Pogues Hole. Shannon is working through that with the Board of Supervisors. There's a couple of nuances that she wanted to make sure were cleared up. That could be maybe 2 months away. I'm thinking Ways and Means. I don't know if you guys have discussed it yet.
We have not.
Okay. So I might be a couple of months out, but I wanted to throw it on here so that we have the authorization document in the event that it's ready to transfer. So
You wanna get into a little of the finance and how we plan on the issue of the sewer?
sure.
money And
So the only thing really missing at Pogues Hole and Exit 4 right now is the sewer connection. I'd like to go to Fast New York, which is a grant program through New York State that would allow us the funding to connect that. That would be the eventual plan to get it shovel ready. I do have someone interested in 4 acres right on the corner of 36 and Pogues Hole. He just reached out the other day, said, Happy New Year, how we do it? So as soon as I have ownership of it, then we can enter into a purchase and sale agreement and go from there. He is an existing business. They do a lot of commercial activity with custom cabinetry, desks, reception areas, all sorts of things that they build out of wood and laminate at their facility up in Washington right now. Nice company. Second generation, maybe. Dad started and son's got it now. They want to move down. They want to get some retail road frontage, something that's a little more visible for them so that they can be seen. They want to get into custom kitchens. So they want to reach out into kind of that retail sector. So they're interested in that front parcel, 4 acres right now. That would leave about 36 acres for development. The sewer has already been designed from years and years and years ago. So we've got the designs from CPL. We just need a connection and everybody would be ready to go. Water's already out there, sewer would be out there, gas is out there. Now, as Gary said, the financing. We're asking the county to relinquish their ownership of it to us at no consideration. The county has an obligation or a liability as owners at about a clip of $90,000 a year in special district taxes for the water line bond payment that's out there. We would be assuming that. The first sale of that property, the 4 acres that I'm talking about, would essentially cover that for year 1. And in year 2, if we had to cover it, it would be roughly about $90,000. So there's $180,000 to $190,000 liability that we would be assuming once the transfer is done. I'd be saving the county $190,000. That's what we're asking for on that.
But yet at the closing of the solar project, we're gonna take in about $350,000 to $360,000. It's down in the south end of the county. Maybe we wanna keep it there.
Yeah, just to clarify that, the sale of the solar parcel from the north end of the property would be going into Pogues Hole. I will not advocate for solar at Pogues Hole. We have significant power out there. It has significant development opportunities that solar go somewhere else, quite honestly. Logistically, it's right off the ramp at Exit 4. The acreage is perfect. The accessibility is wonderful. The development, the access for workforce, you name it. It says industrial development all day long. Okay, so I really kind of want to make sure that that's clear about Pogues Hole is that I'm not an advocate for solar out there at all.
Yeah, it's all business to know.
That's what we want out there. And I love a 250 person employer and food and beverage factory or whatever fits the workforce, but that would really be slated for development.
I think when they started that, they were looking at Home Depot.
Home Depot and Walmart, it was going to be a retail closet. Sorry, too. I don't mean to bring the headache back up. But yeah, that was a nightmare. Lot of pipe. They'd only put in more pipe. It'd be done. But, yeah, so that's where that sits. If the county opts to take us up on this, I just want to have authorization to be able to execute that without having to wait a month. That's what those three authorizations are, and that's the movement of some property that we've got on radar right now.
Are there any other questions on these three organizations? Well, they'd be transfers of property, really.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
Awesome.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Got a couple of annual items that we wanted to take care of today so that we don't bog you down with all of them at once coming up in future meetings. The first one is the meeting schedule. We did discuss this last. We're gonna keep the meetings the same, first Friday of the month, 9 a.m. Looks like we've got 100B, this room for all of them, next year, so try not to move you around. So did you want acceptance of that?
The next sheet, I have them all set up for a single vote,
Oh, okay,
all of the actions.
gotcha.
And the meeting schedule is the first one on that list.
Super. So Maureen put together the appointments and designations listing here is the next sheet. So you see, number one is the agency's meeting schedule. The appointment of members to the Audit and Finance Committee. So we've always done our meetings as a committee of the whole. One thing I do need to get clarified from ABL is if they would like basically some kind of individual audit and governance committee members specifically designated to that. We've always done it as a full board. But it seems like they continue to kind of want to break us into two committees.
Don't know if committee of the whole is the issue, but there is a minimum requirement for the number of times those committees are supposed to meet during the year, and we are now meeting that.
So we may have audit and finance on our, and governance on our agendas more often. Is that what you're saying? But as a whole.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, governance has twice a year. Finance.
Well, we'll have audit meeting here in another
March.
month,
Yeah.
month and a half. And governance has been meeting, governance will meet at the annual meeting as well.
Yeah,
So
it's a matter of separating out the minutes, really.
I'm not proposing that we don't do this as a committee of the whole. I think it's easy and it's from a communication standpoint, everybody's in the loop, so. So appointment to the governance committee and the audit finance committee, again, those are as a whole, the appointment of attorney. Erica, we'd be blessed if you'd come to our meetings. Bonadio is our auditor. Public information director is that, I am the public information director for the IDA. We'll do this again for the LCD. I'm also the procurement officer and the guy that can get us into contracts, although Maureen is also who we with her, always can do that as well. 5 Star is our current bank depository. All of our deposits are there and collateralized, fully collateralized. Signatories for checks, that's Maureen and myself, and I think we've got an account that still has Phil Brooks and
Steve Bosco.
Steve Bosco.
So we will be removing.
And then the official newspaper, so it's
One nitpick.
Yeah.
Item 8. I think the position at the IDA is correct, right?
Correct. Yes.
I think both.
Yeah, I think it's corrected on your. The way it's set up. But
How I usually sign Jim as director. Okay, with that change. I'll make a motion. Great.
Second,
Okay.
all in favor?
Last one on there, the confidential evaluation of the work performance. It's not due today, but, yeah.
So we gave you a hard copy if you would prefer to, and Christie, I didn't get one to you, Bill. Can you read? Thank you. If you prefer to fill it out hard copy and turn it back into us at the next board meeting, that is fine. But on the last page, you'll see a QR code and a URL. It is set up in SurveyMonkey, so you're more than welcome to complete it that way, and we will get your results. This is required as part of our Paris reporting. It is, you only have to take it once, but it is for the IDA, the Development Corporation, and the Capital Resource Corporation.
So you don't have to fill it out 3 different times,
Correct.
just once.
You can
and
just-
you print.
unless you feel differently about the board's performance for different agencies,
Okay.
you're evaluating the board's performance as it pertains to management of those three agencies.
Director comment, I just want to bring you up to speed on Livingston Correctional. I have a site visit on Tuesday, second site visit on Tuesday, with Genesee Valley BOCES. The first time I went through, I think they were very excited about the opportunities. They are bursting at the seams of where they are. Is that Lackawanna Street, I think? Yeah, where they currently are. They are bursting at the seams. There is an expansion proposal that BOCES has been putting together, a fairly large one, 48, 43?
Yeah, there was a meeting last night and unfortunately my schedule didn't allow me to go visit, but they're adding some classrooms, they're adding programming space. It looks like a great capital project, to be honest. Like the interest in BOCES programs right now is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So I did a quick little measurement online with our software. It looks like they've got about 135,000 square feet where they are in Mount Morris. We've got 286 with the gymnasium. So we're gonna look at it again. The invitation list for Tuesday goes right up the food chain to the superintendent. I think that's Kevin's title.
He's retired.
Is he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So I'd love to be able to present a nice alternative to 48 million, 43 million with what we have available and what it would take to put that in place. It's disjointed, obviously, from what they're used to being under one roof, but I love the campus setting and maybe the perception that provides for some of the students that they're, I mean, you're a community college type setting. So anyway, I will let you know on that, but I think we'll make a great fit. We'll have to see.
And he's also gonna run the 50 acres in there, you know, with this proposal, you know, if they don't want it, we'll move them south. And I think they might want it because Bill and I talked, you know, they could do CDL training down there because there's plenty of area for that. You know, they've got many agricultural things that they do in Mount Morris, but they don't have the room for, so we would expand that. And
I think
then,
that programming could use an update too, so they could piggyback off from what other counties are offering. And, you know, like expand our programming. through that.
yeah, because if you look at Byron Virgin, you look at Oakfield, Alexander, Attica, Arcade,
They're all-
their agricultural programs will exceed the local ones.
Yeah.
And greenhouse, whatever, some, actually, I think Pavilion keeps animals year round.
They're actually doing a capital project to expand their FFA program right now.
Pavilion.
So Pavilion at their school district.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting for them. I mean, York, does shared services with them, but I'm talking more on the side of the BOCES programming because they don't offer what Genesee County offers in their BOCES program for agriculture.
And this would be an ideal proposal, you know, on this whole site. What is there, 180, 172 acres there in the
170.
Livingston? They could really host the program that they do at the Genesee County Fairgrounds. Would be a good deal there too.
I'm excited about it. We'll see. The first trip through, I think showed, as it always does, it's doesn't feel like prison on the inside there, you know, but outside the race. But that comes down and now you've got a very community college-y type setting. They were, I was reading faces, but the look was when I was in the program building with where inmates learned skills with small engine or janitorial or, you know, carpentry, things like that. The facilities that are there on the site, what's the with outside access and things like that, they just, a couple of them kind of looked around and went, this is nice. So
Greenhouse was a big issue with them.
Like that.
Welding and metals, that's big there. The electricity is there.
The administration building is 10 times the size of the space that they've got now, and they could find some cost savings, I think, pulling back from some of the communities that they're in on satellites, pulling it all.
They're looking to expand programming. I think one of the programs is on like small engines. And if they offer it now, they're expanding out to like boat. So like marine, yeah, there's a huge demand of like engine repair, but small engines and making that.
That's funny, because I think that was the one room that I read that on,
Yeah,
because it had the exhaust hookups. So
Yeah.
that you could do that inside with the door closed, and they kind of went,
yeah. So I'm slightly confused because they've gone out with this capital project. Okay, I think that they need to,
I reached out probably a year and a half ago to Kevin, and I didn't get a response.
okay,
This one came back through Matt locally, in Mount Morris, so.
because I know districts aren't going to be willing to spend if they know that there's potentially another opportunity. Like, why did you do it twice?
That's located half a mile off of the interstate with accessibility. It's pretty easy to get at. Anyway, I'll let you know. Coming up, we'll see.
I don't like to spend money. I can
I'll
Well, I
stress
think
that
they
part.
have got some businesses off site too. One of the diesels
Yeah,
on Mill Street,
Well, when they contract out to other BOCES because they don't have capacity for the interest of the student level that they have, so there's overflow.
Yeah, their diesel programs in Mount Morris, they were taking those before Mount Morris, they were sending them to Castile, the farm, the potato farmer. So they were,
Encore?
they were in a bus a half hour,
Yeah.
40 minutes. And
Yeah.
then try to have a class and then another 40 minutes back, so that's why they invested in. They contacted Jim Oliver and he redid one of his buildings. Cause it's 5 minutes from this walking distance.
Right.
We'll see. I'm excited for it.
When did you say this?
13th,
Okay.
that's Tuesday.
oh, if she wants to.
I'll
Thinking the same thing, great.
You wanna come?
Chrissy, do you wanna go?
I leave it open, 10 o'clock, I think.
I'm something I'm not gonna say, but I think I have fire out. Yeah.
11 o'clock.
Okay, if no other business, I entertain a motion to close that, meeting.
So much.
Second?
Second.
In favor? Okay, I'd like to also welcome
Just,
Put the things,